Okay, so today now we're in a place in Sketty, Tico. I'll review the sea there. We're on this bungalow and we're doing our first solar panel job. So just the other side of this ridge is south, facing the sea, so that's where we're going to put the solar panels. So this is what we have. We have 8 of these solar panels. Got some Niglon isolators. We've got this inverter. And these brackets and rails. Just got to suss it all out now, how it all fits. And it's going up on this roof here.
Tops or bottoms. Very fine,
So this is what we did back in April this year. We fitted this Navitas board, SPD, RCBOs. There's 3 spare ways. I was thinking of integrating the isolator and meter into here, but I don't think I'll have a space because the isolator takes up 3 ways. I think the meter takes up 2. So I'm probably just going to put the meter in here and then an externally mounted isolator. It's a plasterwood wall and all the cables are behind. I don't think the inverter will fit in here. I need a solid wall for the inverter. I'll probably put it there. I'll speak to the customer first. I think he preferred to there or there, which would be the way the door opening. We'll have a look. There is lots of space up in the attic. The attic is an option. See, this thing weighs 80 kilos and it's got a ripped handle on one side. We try to use the Milwaukee pack out. It's class. Idea for this job. There she goes. There she goes again. Song for every occasion. Okay, so we've got a slot drilled in there. Big enough for all the cables. We got 6 mil to in earth, which gives it going to be wired into the bottom of the inverter, because that's the instructions for said to use. We're going to mount this now on there to get the height. We're going to put on the pack up and then lift it up bit by bit. Okay, we've used the pack out to get it at the almost height. We lift it into place and that's how it sits. I don't know what we're going to do to hide the cables behind. I'm going to have to protect that 6 mil because it's not UV rated. Unless I change it for HO7 maybe. Got a length on the van?
Don't know.
Might have. Anyway, got these connections here now. From what I can gather, I'll double check, I think the link goes from there to there. And then we've got obviously all the connections there. And we've got connections here as well, battery in, battery, minus and plus. That goes to the inverter, so all the connections go to the inverter and the inverter is connected to the battery. Okay, so we've got the battery mounted on the wall now with the 5 supply screws, and that's absolutely rock solid. 10 mil holes and like the old boats. We connect these up, got to make the other ends up. The data cable is already made up, but the other 2 got to make them up with the ends. And they're going to go into the 2 terminals here on the inverter. Then this pair is for 1 string of 4 solar panels, and this pair is for the string of the other 4 solar panels. Then what we've got to have then is we need to have the data cable, the mains cables got to be 6 mil. Can use 10, but we, it's 20 amps like. fact it's 16 amps. So we've got 6mm. I didn't like the idea of using 20th outside, so we've used an offcut of EV Ultra cable we've got. It's a nice hardcore, harder than HO7. It's ideal for here. Got this little bracket goes over our connections. We've got under here then, we've got live neutral and earth. And the other two live and neutrals are for emergency power supply, which we don't have, so we don't need that. So we're just going to put those 3 core into there. That's going to throw a little slot in the wall, which we're going to seal up when we are done. We've also got to bring 4 HO7, what are they called? Or the PV cable through the walls to go into the 2 strings there. And we've got to bring the CT clamp cable through there as well. So once they're all through, we'll seal it all up. Little covers go over there. We are going to recommend the customer makes a box to go over this out of a solid top and then slatted wood sides, so it stops the majority of the weather getting in here. Even though these are IP65 rated, at least they got a bit of extra protection, haven't they? So here we go. Okay. So the first panel is up. Luke's done a good job on the rails in, all hidden in the tiles. There'll be 4 there and 4 here, and Lewis is just
holding a panel there.
Yeah, it's hard working up this ladder after doing stone marathon, but I want to have a look. And there's Luke, I'm holding him up there. What do you say?
Look, the fixings on the wall behind you.
Oh, right. You get on with my bit now. Connections are done there, all crimped nicely. So just got to get this cover on now. And I could have put this a bit higher, but I mean, the screen would be too high then. I could have dropped this down a bit, I suppose. Or even have 200 off the floor, so I could have dropped it down. But now it's all bolted, so I'll take that on board for the next one. It's okay for now. Okay, so I ended up dropping the inverter down. Those bolts are rock solid tight. It looks like they've been pulled out, they're not. That's tight. That's not moving even slightly. So I've got the crimped ends, live neutral earth wide in there, and I've got this on with a sealing clamp. That's EV Ultra cable. Obviously I'm not using the cores. I've realised there's a little cover to go on here, same as the other side. So you can seal those cables with excess there. We've got the BMS cable connected into this little device here, and it's going into it. Adapts into like a USB plug, and it goes in there. So we're sussing it all out as we're going along. I'm only going to need 1 AC isolator. The DC is going to go up in the attic to isolate the DC where it leaves the panels before it drops down to the inverter, and then it's going to come through the wall into the inverter, and then from the inverter the 2 strings, they connect to the battery, so there'll be 6 wires connected there. I've got the mains out there, the 6mm live neutral and earth, and that'll go into an isolator there, and that isolator will be connected into 6mm cable into the covered inside there into the consumer unit through a bi-directional 32 amp RCBO. It's coming along nicely. Okay, so the BMS connection is done. So is the battery plus and battery minus. I changed my mind with the EV Ultra, and I've decided to use HO7. It's much more flexible, and it'll be a nicer job inside. So I've just got to bring the 4 solar string DC cables through here now and connect up to there and then the CT clamp. So let's get inside and crack on there. So all I've done, I've used blue for positive, earth for negative, just because it doesn't really matter what you choose. And I've named them 1, 2, 3, 4. So string 1 is 1 and 2, string 2 is 3 and 4. So I'll put them through the ladder there so we can keep them together. I'm going to tape them now to keep them as one entity. I might put them in Corpex, I might not. Depends, see how I feel actually. So we've got the HO7 through here. We've got the negative and positive connected up, and we've got the whatever it's called, BMS connected. Now, I think I'm going to spiral up them so it looks a bit tidier. That's used to what it's doing in the steelworks. This is all on, this is all on, and I've been fitting the isolator inside. So, don't take me now, I'll do that. So, Lewis is pulling it straight. We're using a ladder to guide it through, so they're all nice and straight. And every sort of 30mm, we're taping them. So we fit this Navitas consumer unit in May with RCBOs and SBDs, because that's the way we roll. We did have 4 spare ways, but we ended up fitting a car charger back in June, and now we are fitting a PV system. So straight away, there's 2 of the ways used. I've only got 2 spare, and if you look, I've got a couple of spare cables there. One is for upstairs sockets, because they are going to do a loft conversion at some point, or there's a possibility of doing at least. And obviously we need lighting upstairs as well. So next thing you know, we got a full board with no spares. So if you decide to have a garage or anything in the future, we're a bit stumped. So it's always worthwhile putting as many spares as you can. I normally fit like 18-20 ways. I did one last week when I only needed 7. It just makes more sense. There's not much difference in cost, and blanks are pennies. They're a couple of quid each, whatever they are. Anyway, we did this. We've got a kitchen ring, a ring for downstairs. The downstairs ring runs through Corpex. It's under all the floor, so it's got a bit of extra protection. And it's all clipped to the joist as well, with all unbanding. You can see we've done a neat job here. We had the DNO out. They replaced the old decrepit meter for a smart meter, and they fit a 100 amp cutout instead of the old 60. It might have even been a 63. It was a right old one. So we've got now HO7 here, which is going to be for that isolator. Out the isolator, in through HO7 again, and that's going to go into the top of this bi-directional 32 amp RCBO. So that's my next little job here. We've got the DC cables down. Lewis is installing the isolator upstairs. We've labelled the end so we know what's what, if you know what is what. Song reference there. So we're going to get all the cables through that hole, and then we're going to make it look tidy. Then we're going to patch it up, because we don't leave stuff in that state. So that's not the way to do it. We've got a bit of plasterboard to go over that, which I took off to get access to it. They're all unbanded there, and they're all unbanded up there, just to contain them. And anyway, that is where we're at so far on the job.
So we have the DC isolator and the cables. Nice, and we decided to put them in cleats. So put all four cables into one cleat and run them down. Go down there, along that, down the back, along the back, all the way down, as you can see, down and in there.
Looking good, you know. I'm not a fan of that bench, which the RCBO left in there. They said it was perfectly safe. It's full of resin or something, and it's to extend that pelt cable up to that. Anyway, I've spoken about it in the past. So we've got now our bi-directional RCBO in here, Navitas. I've got the cable. It's coming there, under there, into the back of the board. The isolator's connected. It's very important with these isolators not to isolate the earth, the CPC. That's maintained, that is. So this isolator now will switch off the live and neutral, but leave the earth connected. So even when the isolator's off, it's earth at all times. And we've brought the earth into the MET there, and the cables in the top of the RCBO, the correct polarity. So it's off now. If I turn it on, I'll have power to the isolator, and when I turn the isolator on, I'll have power to that inverter, and it will come through the other direction when we've got the solar connected. The solar cables are now all out of sight, and they are there. So we're going to tidy this hole up now and crimp up the cables. They have 4mm double insulated cable. Another thing we need to do, which I just remembered, we need to get an earth out, supplementary earth to earth the inverter and the battery. I don't know if it's really needed, but we're going to do it. Battery 0 kilowatts today, 0 kilowatts, system off. Well, that's because I haven't connected yet.
We're going to get you home after 4, and as well as hearing from the guys as usual, you're going to be able to get the latest from Mark Wright.
I haven't connected up the DC side of it yet.
With the latest from Universal Orlando Resort. In fact, they've just been
Right down.
It's Ollie Mays and Mark
Battery
Wright
isn't.
from Universal Orlando Resort, and we
Well, it is connected to that, but it's not charging it because obviously there's no
it actually
DC.
is a real life dragon. It's going to be cool. Let's find out what happens after 4. Why do I feel like it's not?
We decided to colour these with a Sharpie. Red for positive, black for negative. So what happens is, when you turn this isolator on, which you need the lid to do, position 1 shorts out to position 2. In other words, it's normally open contact. Position 3 goes to 4, 5 goes to 6, 7 to 8. Normally, an isolator is top to bottom. But I belted out and checked, and this is correct. So we've got array 1 here and array 2 here, or at least that's what they marked on the bottom. So when they come in from the solar panels, we have array 1 coming in here and array 2 there, positive to negative. This is one array here coming in. There's an end down there, and there's an end down there. Hold on a second, let me get up. So we've clipped all this attic nice and tidy, everything, the AC and the DC, and you can see it all together down there. This other wire is old shit, nothing to do with us. We've taken all, in fact, can you pull that out, Lewis? Take it all out. We've taken all the old junction boxes, pull cords, everything out, yeah? There's some wires there which are going to be for future sockets and lights when this attic conversion is done. There's a junction box there to take out there as well, Lewis. Okay. Just take that out. I don't like to leave the old equipment here. So anyway, we've done this attic for today. I've ordered a new crimper for the cable. When that comes tomorrow, I'm gonna do the crimps. The crimps on the MC4 connectors, and I'll put them into there. Clip it nice and tidy down to the bottom of the isolator there. One cable's over there somewhere, isn't it? Yeah, it's over there. And the other one's over there, so we need to extend them and bring them into that. All nice and tidy, all clearly marked up. So you can chuck a lid on that now, Lewis, if you want to. And I'll stay there till tomorrow. So this is where we're at. Board is done and labelled up. 2 spare ways ready for upstairs. Stickered, isolator on, powered up. We've got to still do the earths. So look upstairs. There's a link you can see there. It's got to go from there to the right hand side solar panel. So that's one array, and that top one. That's the second array, and that top one says 4 each string. I'm going to tie the other cable up. You can see, where is it, just there, and that's going to be outside as well. It's going to look really nice. So the battery is on, stick it up. The inverter is on, powered on, as well as on the wall, and stick it up. The inverter is linked to the battery. We've got these 4 cables here which are marked positive and negative, array 1 and 2, and they go under there, and that's going to I've got to put the MC4 connectors on there. I've got to put the MC4 connectors inside the loft. There's a CT clamp I've got to wire through. I'm going to earth that. I have to look into what size to earth it with. 10mm is going to be way overkill. I'm thinking 4mm or maybe even 6mm cable. I don't carry that, so I have to buy a piece of it. And inside here as well, there's an earth. It's actually underneath the screw, which is a bit shonky. I don't even want to have seen it there. There's an earth terminal there, and there's another one on the other side, so I don't know what to do with that yet. I'll work something out. But that's it for today. We'll crack on tomorrow.